The Diary of a Certified Psychopath. 26th of December, 2021. Festive Foxes and Falcon Filler. Pardon me, weather gods, but if you're going to deal out dud hands, expect me to respond with cunning twists and very close to home. In fact, what was forecast as all-night drizzle eased off after roughly half an hour and delayed returning long enough for me to potter on, dry out, and conserve potentially precious kitchen roll. Half a big hand's turn around a luminous analog clock face later, Worthing a-wandering. Scarcely speedy, but sublimely smooth and exceptionally satisfying. The very epitome of maximum effect with minimum effort. Indeed, there are occasions when this enchanting marvel of intuitively adaptive engineering seems almost to be peddling itself, and still manages to keep up with 90% of e-bikes, including those Bosch monsters with the bulky bottom brackets. Bumps and ridges absorbed with casual and enamoring elegance, with every pothole, crack, crevice and ravine effectively filled in on the graceful fly, and surface transitions as seamless as the Bayou tapestry. I'm almost loathed to admit that it has unearthed the irregular joys of our local council's most poorly appointed and casually maintained cyclepaths. Meteorological mediums once more way off with their predicted precipitation, putting me a shade ahead of parity in Rafa's seasonal distance challenge. 27th of December. Ticking over, topping up. No official real-life entry, either yesterday or to begin 2021's week of emotionally conflicted farewells, but 3 sizable enough stocking stuffers to keep the daily outdoor average distance just ahead of the target total in this recuperative Rule 5 Rafa challenge. Night time continues to be the ride time as far as festive facilitation is concerned, and thank you otherwise bleak midwinter nights for your continued merciful mildness. Filler and rations. Wind, rain and traffic. A cyclist's 3 most hated ambient variables, with cold running a close fourth. Keep promising myself never to tolerate them as a trio, but some seasonal supplies are just too crucial. Plus, drying out on the way home was all the more enjoyable. 28th of December. Wherever, whenever, and however. Official challenge completed, old school still in progress. And sometimes it's those rides that don't seem worth logging which matter most when, on New Year's Eve at 9 p.m, you still have 150 kilometers left and no time either for smiles, laughs, celebrations, or a glass of fair trade Bollinger. Squiggle and squall. Was going to be a swift spin into the land of slumber, but will likely be housebound after 12 noon today and forecast none too rosy ahead of Friday's festive farewell. Though truth be told, when it comes to elemental tag teams, I'd far rather Screaming Lord South with Wild Wild West than Beastly East and our Fiend from the North. Festive 500, Part 4. One of those freakish occasions when a west wind that is worth 300 metres of climbing before you've even reached the end of your road was somehow a more attractive proposition than 60 minutes in a studio-based, thermally controlled microclimate on a stationary bike, cycling through a virtual construct where the sun eternally shines and the only draft you feel is that of a 300-strong peloton towing you along at an effortless 40+ kilometres per hour. I know indoor cycling can be every bit as hard, I just needed an angle to come in on. Such a scenario could only evolve from some objectively pointless self-imposed pilgrimage. Enter the old school in real life festive 500. And on this savagely blustery morning, with my distance quota being barely up to parity, the harshest reality called for the shrewdest solution in this, one of my most tried and trusted routes, optimised for mile munching, along predominantly flat A roads, bypassing the idyllic villages of Beeding, Bramber, Stenning and Washington before descending into Worthing's northerly suburbs and heading home east along either the A259 or 27, keeping safely left at all times and, in this instance more than ever, imagining each passing vehicle as an aero power-up. Wish I could expend more flowery rhetoric waxing lyrical about the spectacular sunrise casting a blaze of golden rays across Mother Nature's glowing gamut of rich bronze and ochre orange, but by the time I reached Findon Cemetery, having not budged an inch from my raging hunch, all I desired was for toilsome heads to flip to fleeting tails, and to teleport me back home for tea and hobnobs. Around 50 to 55 kilometres a day required from tomorrow till midnight on New Year's Eve, at a tired guess, all of which shall be plain-clothed and recuperative, and if I don't make it, I was never meant to.